in planning. You think all of us were clairvoyant. Like, we're going to have this meeting's going to happen, then there's going to be this report. We can control ourselves, but we're expected to write these scopes of work as though we know what everybody's going to do. And unfortunately, what happens is that because, particularly consultants, are hired to do a scope of work within a limited amount of time, that as planners, we often we try to fit the round peg in the square hole, or square peg in the round hole. We organize ourselves, we organize our projects so that we get our reports done, we get our plans done on time. We may not be sure that it's really ready, but the contract says it's got to be done by this time, or we don't get paid, so we get it done at this time.
So before we wrap up, I just want to go back to discussing leadership a little bit. As we talked a little bit, that's how we met, just doing leadership development, and discuss the importance of leadership for planners, and talk about exactly what leading from the middle is, just that concept, because with just the words themselves, people can get kind of a sense of what it is, but they may not have a sense of how to be empowered being in the quote-unquote middle.
Okay. I'll start with a quote from one of my old professors, Dowell Myers, who really kind of put this in my head about leadership, got me started to think about that. The only power that most planners have is the power to persuade.
Great quote.
As I said, we, through regulations, we have the power to stop people from doing things, and that's an important power. But we can't coerce people, force people into doing good things, or starting to do good things. So how do we do that then? Well, it's not just about telling people. We have to understand people. I was really bothered. What I've heard so many planners over the years, and luckily fewer of them now, when I ask them, what's the purpose of a public meeting? It's to educate the public. Yeah, it's that view, like, well, I'm smarter than you. And also, and this I think is part of our training, that if somebody disagrees with us, it's because they don't know.
It's the prescriptive arrogance you were discussing earlier.
Exactly. You don't know, so I'm just going to keep telling you. Maybe I'll talk slower so you can understand. Maybe I'll draw nice pictures. So, all these things. The idea is that we have to accept that nobody knows everything. Everybody knows something. And that leadership is not just creating the environment where people can speak, but culturally competent leadership is understanding why, even when we create an environment, when we are nice, when we say, would you like to say anything, why some people just don't.
Yeah.
That there are barriers because of history, because of tensions, things that might not have to do with any of us as individuals in the room, but affect us as people who, in some ways, to others represent something.
Societal and systemic dynamics, and what your role is in those systems and societies.
So leading from the middle was developed. I developed it as kind of a third model of leadership. So we know about top-down leadership.
Sure.
We also know about grassroots leadership. But where do the grassroots and the top-down meet? In the middle.
Absolutely.
And where are planners?
Often in the middle.
Often in the middle. We're the ones who have to talk to everybody. And we're the ones who, the architect, the engineer, it's crazy. But on the other hand, that centrality can be makes us a source of influence. If we can be seen as people who care about other people, if we can use our training in viewing things holistically to connect people, to help people understand one another, to create opportunities for people to develop, co-create solutions, rather than looking at it as a competition, looking at it more as bringing together, making the whole bigger than the sum of its parts. Then again, we can do our job of not only making better places, but building the kinds of connections among people that help make places more sustainable.
Excellent. Well, Leo, thank you for joining us today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, thanks, James.
Sure.
That's great. It's great to see you again.
Likewise. Yeah. And I hope you all enjoyed the conversation today. And thank you for joining us.